Where have you been?
Oh, mate, I'm exhausted.
Merckxy's been doing an excellent job.
Yeah, he's just a beautiful human being, isn't he?
Yes, but you've been doing something exotic.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got a secret double life as a performer, a thespian, and I've been
a
shooting.
performer. Oh,
a
heavens!
performer, an artist.
Is it like child appropriate?
Well, yeah.
The genre?
Oh, the content? No. I've been making a film, and it's don't take the kids to see it. It's not adult. It's crime, and it's just. It's
so to
gory
clarify,
and,
you haven't been missing from the Wheelhouse because you've been opening an OnlyFans studio.
No. That's already open. That's been open for months. But that, and been hosting some breakfast radio on your ABC as well. So it's been a very big few weeks. I've missed the bunker. Terribly.
We've missed you here too. I tell you what, the cyclists over in Francais, I reckon it's been a pretty big few weeks as well.
Yeah. I bet some of them are sitting there wishing, why didn't we just start an OnlyFans page? 'Cause this cycling capers
it would
a
be
bit
as
much.
well paid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Merckxy.
We're recording and it's good to have you back, Joel.
Thanks, Merckxy. Merckxy's a good host.
He is.
Really
Have
good
you
host.
been like shivering in your boots?
I've been shivering because I've been in Sydney. It's been freezing. I didn't take enough warm stuff. And we were shooting actually at like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and I had to wear like a singlet.
Jeez.
And
Quite different to the heat wave in Europe at the moment.
36 degrees in France on the Wheelhouse Podcast. We are recording. It's lovely to be back in the bunker. My name's Joel Spreadborough and Kate Barthez. Hello.
God, so good. We're nearly in the third week of the tour already. How did it happen that quickly?
It's actually ridiculous because now we're starting to say, yeah, look, the tour's all well and good, but let's start talking about Vuelta and all that sort of stuff as well. So I whipped this up overnight in my little home recording studio, played all the instruments myself, composed it. No, this is Merckxy's playlist once again. Where's this one come from, Merckxy?
France, Joel.
There you go. That narrows it right down for us.
Excellent.
A lot to cover today. We're going to talk about Tour de France, of course. Past halfway. Where does the time go? I don't know. We've got Willie Won't He. It's such a cliche, but I really want to play Will I Stay or Will I Go when we're talking about Mark Cavendish because it was all over Red Rover and now Astana's like, if you want to come back for Anyway, we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about, we've got to do Aussie Watch and our mate Jai, who's soaring, to be honest. 1 foot on the podium, and let's not jinx him by saying too much more on that. A bit more news about your very, very dear friend, first on your Christmas card list, Patrick Lefevre, as well. Looking forward to chatting about that. And also Wout van Aert. We're just basically going through all of your mates every week.
I mean, what about Jonas? Cousin Jonas.
Well, his family. He's like Vin Diesel. He's like, his family.
Yeah.
It's more important. So, no, let's get into it. There is so much to cover. It's lovely to be back and reading stuff that's actually true and not make-believe. So that's good fun. Now, we've seen in the tour over halfway point, the Cofidis' stranglehold on Tour de France success has continued. Kate Bates.
I think maybe the dramatic pursuits you've been following, you're embellishing a bit.
Stellar performance. How many stage wins?
2 stage wins.
In how long?
15 years.
Hey, that's 2 more stage wins than I have. You know?
This is true. Well, yeah, because Izagare won stage 10, which is pretty impressive. His brother Gorka also in the peloton. It's really been a tour of brothers.
It has.
It's a real brothership amongst them.
Yeah.
And they're from the Basque Country, so it's a pretty special tour for them to be able to start in Basque Country and then now take a stage win. And again, for Cofidis, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
So, haters be gone.
Haters be gone. No, fair enough. We'll talk about the heat a little bit more too. I have a question that might be a slightly ignorant one, but just as far as pushing hard, pushing early in this kind of heat and what that does at the back end of the tour, if that makes sense. We'll get into that. I do want to ask you about Mark Cavendish, the Manx missile. So that's obviously, we all know what's happened. Had a stack, heartbreak, that 35th stage win. Seemingly put to bed, like it's not going to happen, but time does funny things. And I think 48 hours passed and all of a sudden it was, well, you know what, you could come back for another year. Now there's 2 very clear arguments here. One is go through a whole year, all the rides, all the training, all the everything, get into stage 1 of the tour next year, have a stack, it's all over. Other side of it is you get the record. You put your body through all of that once again, you get the record. I cannot think of anyone who's in a better position to talk to this than you.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain poetry in how it's played out. I mean, it's a
tragedy.
What makes cycling such a beautiful, enthralling sport, more than any other sport that I've ever followed, slight bias there, is that the unpredictability of it.
Yep.
To even achieve what he has and win so many stages when at any given time, on any day, racing or training, calamity can happen and often does happen. And, we've previously gone through the list of Geraint Thomas's injury list and how many bones he's broken.
Yep.
There's absolutely nothing guaranteed. So I think this is a better way for the story, if we're talking about, the grand story of Mark Cavendish, than to go out by just not getting the record. Like that wouldn't be end to the story. That would be like, oh, that kind of sucks.
That sucked. Yeah.
And on set we've got the Boy Racer book, the Mark Cavendish book from far earlier in his career, and it says My Journey to Tour de France, record breaker, and I think there's a lot left in the story, and this, in many ways, I reckon it's almost going to become the longest held record that's equalled but never broken.
But not broken.
Yeah.
Merckxy. Speaking of, Merckxy.
So the doco,
Yeah.
Mark Cavendish doco, is coming out August the 2nd. It's called Mark Cavendish Never Enough.
Never enough. And
is it really, or are you just...
No, it really is.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
On
There you
Netflix.
go.
On Netflix. I've actually...
August 2, that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, put that one in your diaries. And that and of course, the Mark Cavendish book available at the Wheelhouse online store for just $29.99. We'll organise that. Now, I that's what I want to talk about, because the pride side of it is massive. Now, we look at this. I love this whole... The prestige of equaling a great. Now, we've seen it in sport, obviously. The best example I can think of off the top of my head is the great Don Bradman in cricket. A number of cricketers have reached his mark and not succeeded. I remember former captain Mark Taylor hitting his equal highest score and then declaring, he's like, no, I've so much respect, whatever. I don't think that applies here. I think Cavendish has made it pretty clear that record is what he wants.
But I don't think... It might be something you want, but that doesn't mean at all costs. And you do get to a point in your career where that the balance really shifts.
Yeah.
And it changes from you're young and you can be selfish because you have nothing really else to focus on but that.
Yeah.
But he made it very clear in his retirement statement that family is so important. He's missed so much. He wants to be there. So, I don't know. I mean, dare I say it would be pretty selfish of him to... after so many years, go back and say to his family, on the chance. Imagine how Peter and the kids would be feeling then, because they're so immensely proud of him, and his career is not defined by whether he gets that record or not. I just don't think it's worth the risk of going again.
Going through it all again.
That's my view. But I also love that there's a documentary on it, because these crews go along hoping for one outcome but knowing it could be a completely different one.
Yeah.
And one of the favourite sports documentaries I've ever seen is one by the name of The Crash Reel.
Okay.
And it follows Kevin Pearce. He was a snowboarder trying to break the record of Shaun White heading into the Winter Olympics. And they were big rivals. And he crashes in training before the Olympics and gets a traumatic brain injury. And so the documentary goes from trying to follow him to Olympic glory to following him through this but it's so beautifully done, because they went in just following him, hoping they'd be going to the Olympics with him, but not knowing where the story went. And this documentary is going to be like that. Like, instead of it being this fairy tale that they'd hoped they'd get, it's going to be arguably a more compelling story.
Yep.
And great for the fans. Merckxy.
Netflix describe it as an uplifting profile in resilience and self-belief, revealing the inside story of one of the most inspiring and unexpected comebacks in sporting history.
Yeah, and look, he'd have to put another comeback on the table as well. And look, I respect what you're saying. The whole queue in the rack, there's more to life, all of that. His career has been monumental. There's no doubt about it. He's already beyond a great of the sport. But I'm just curious. There was a lot of...
You want him to go again, don't you? Merckxy,
I'd love
you want him to go again, don't you?
I'd love him to go again.
The fans want him to go again, Kate.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And not that I've had enough, but
Yeah.
I think it's
Give the people what they want.
I just love the theatre of it. I love... I'm just saying, can you imagine a year from now, he powers to a stage win sometime in the middle of the tour, gets the stage win, it's just like, you know what?
Oh, it's movie only.
I'm done.
Right?
I'm out. I'm not even going to finish the tour. I got what I came for.
All
But as you say, the cost of that is more significant than it was when he was in his early 20s. And
It is, but
early
look,
30s
I'm
as
coming
well.
around to your view on things. That would be beautiful.
It would be special. But look, everything else aside, the guy's had surgery this week, a serious stuff.
I don't reckon he will, is my view.
Yeah.
So whether we want him to or not,
Yeah.
I don't reckon he will.
Yeah, very very sad. He was looking good too. That the previous stage and everything. Like, here we
Two
go.
second places. Oh, that does make it more compelling, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
doesn't it just?
Yeah.
Doesn't it just to know that you were still there? That's the other thing on the athlete. Like, you're still up there. You can still match it with these guys, beat these guys.
Well, the Wheelhouse had a tweet that aged badly.
Did you say, what did you say, a tweet?
A tweet.
Oh, I thought you said a tweet. I thought we had a tweet.
No, a tweet.
Are we threading yet, just quickly?
We are. We're
Okay.
threading. A tweet that aged badly, and it was will Mark Cavendish break the record or not?
Yeah.
And it was the night before when he got second in the stage, and it went gangbusters.
Went
and
absolutely,
let me tell you,
yeah.
the fans, they believed in him.
Of course.
It was overwhelmingly yes.
Yeah.
And yes, the next evening when the poll was still running, because they run for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, the no vote all of a sudden became the victors.
Oh,
in
that's
that one,
almost
so
pay
that was a little bit sad.
out the bets, isn't it? Because it's
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
look, really, really sad, and what we think is an end to it. An incredible journey. Not the way he wanted to go out, but it doesn't tarnish. Obviously, it was an accident. Doesn't tarnish anything. And let's just watch it. Let's watch. We'll have to bring the Cav jar back on into the bunker because we're going to talk about it.
Another year
Yeah.
of talking
Eddie
about
Merckx must
him.
be happy.
Oh, Merckxy, come again?
The actual Eddie Merckx must be happy.
Oh, not you, Merckxy. No, I think the actual Eddie Merckx would.
No, well, one Merckxy's desperate for him to continue. The other one's sitting there going, "Whew, safe."
Yeah, I think they'd probably be saying, "Oh, you know." He'll
No,
say,
put your feet up."
It's a sad way to go, but
Yeah, seriously, Mark. Just you've done enough. Okay, Wheelhouse Podcast coming to you from the bunker. I'm Joel Spreadborough. Catherine Bates is here as well. The rest day has obviously gone past us as well. Jai Hindley spoke about having a day with the boys and just chilling out and all of that. I think we're going to talk about stamina and all of that sort of stuff as well. It's an easy question, but I'd love to know your thoughts on the importance of the rest day in this heat and everything else that's going on.
hit and miss. I don't think all riders like the rest. It sounds
Yep.
nice, doesn't it? Like
Yep.
you kind of imagine that they'll be lounging by the pool and it will be so lovely. I don't know that that's the reality of it. You have to keep riding. You have to go for a decent training ride. Otherwise your body goes, oh my gosh, it's done. You're going to stop torturing us. And
Yeah.
it just switches off, and then you try and race the next day and it just your body doesn't respond how it should. So you have to keep riding, so it's not a really relaxing day. And typically they've had transfers, a lot of press. So I don't know. Some riders I think enjoy the mental break, but others don't really.
Yeah.
But I think mentally it's probably a bigger break than anything, because it's full. You have to concentrate so hard just to stay safe in the bunch, let alone everything else going on. And again, as you say, in quite extreme heat, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it does give the riders a chance to kind of rest and rehab a little bit. But while we're talking about that, I just wanted to mention some really sad news that's come in. A young Western Australian rider by the name of Connor Lambert, who was over in Belgium. He was racing for a Canadian team. A training partner and friend of Jai Hindley and Ben O'Connor was killed in Belgium on Wednesday. that's hit Jai pretty hard.
Yeah.
They were good friends. So I think if we look at, so we're sending all our thoughts and love to his friends and family and the whole community. But I think if we look at the pressure that these guys are under, and we talked about it with Cav in terms of like, you know, what's it worth and the life moments of it. Jai Hindley probably needs a day off.
Yeah, well,
because
that changes it, doesn't it?
it's his first ever Tour de France. He's on the virtual podium at the moment. He does have a lot of pressure, but a lot of excitement and but all of a sudden he's been whacked with the reality of real life.
Yeah.
And he talked at the beginning about how he lived essentially like a monk for 2 months before this, wrapping himself in cotton wool and just protecting everything to be, in the best shape that he possibly could. You can't protect yourself from life and from these moments. And so if you put that through the whole peloton, there's so many athletes who are dealing with other things. We need to talk about Wout van Aert, whose head's in the clouds because his wife's about to have another child. So real life doesn't get put on hold because of the tour. And I think that's where rest days can allow the athletes to see their families. Often they'll come and visit and get away from the mental load of it.
Yeah, I love what you've said there. And I think there's, even speaking about Cavendish and what he's weighing up as well, like there is more to life. And it's incredibly sad to hear about Conor Lambert. The other thing with these incidents, Conor Lambert, Gino Mader as well, is it puts, I guess, a bit of a haze over the peloton as well. Like you mentioned the word safety before, but there's a bit of this is fresh in the mind, isn't it, for all of the riders? We've seen tributes across the tour as well. They're making these descents, probably thinking about this sort of stuff as well. So the mental load is extreme, and that's before we even start talking about the heat and the competition, the pressure, all of that. The emotional toll is huge. So rest day has its perks, I guess.
Yeah, it does. I mean, for the travelling journalists, it's the first day that they get to, do their laundry and such things. So
they're going to the pub. They're not doing their laundry.
No, well, God, traditionally, the rest day was when doping scandals always dropped.
Right.
I'm so glad we're past that. But it used to be this crazy hectic day for everybody around the tour, trying to get to laundromats and do all of that. Because it's not like the media have a truck with a washing machine in it, although NBC does, I might add.
Really?
Yeah, NBC does. Phil Liggett, he goes on air with a beautiful, crisp, fresh, laundered and pressed shirt every day. We expect no less.
Well, he's Phil Liggett.
For Phil Liggett.
Yeah.
Yes. But
g'day, Phil. I'm sure
Phil,
you're listening. Yeah.
Friend of the Wheelhouse. But dare I say that Keno and Gero and Bridie have had to hang out in a laundromat
I
to
noticed
get it done.
They're sitting a bit further apart because it's like, just watch the
they're doing a brilliant job, and I think also the rest day for them is important because it gives them a little bit of breathing space.
Keno is on fire. He is on fire. Some of his quotes have just been like really stirring.
We need to get the couch peloton on to making like a little quote book.
Yeah.
Because it would be actually by the end, you almost forget the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things even about podcasting during the Grand Tours.
Yeah.
Unless you're podcasting every single day, so much happens that by the time you even get to where we are in the race ahead of stage 13, you've forgotten all of the drama of stage 1, 2, and the stories around it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, some sad news. Also, Aussie hopes. We've seen Jai, obviously the shining light so far. Bit going on for him, but as you say, still on that virtual podium, looking ahead to some massive, massive climbs, and I think feeling okay. Are you feeling okay about Jai, Kate?
I am. I mean, if we want to kind of steal a segment from the project or something like that, like a hot or not.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's more of a have you been paying attention kind of segment. I don't know. He's firmly in the hot category.
He's in the what's hot. Okay.
What's hot. He is on fire. And from when we're recording now, the next stage they go up the Grand Colombier. It's quite a short stage. That's really the main event. They finish up the top of it. It is such a beautiful, poetic, epic climb.
Yep.
And he's come out and said that he knows it's going to be on from the get-go.
Yep.
And he knows that it'll just be, and he's prepared for it. And I just think he's got nothing to lose. Like we had a beautiful moment, crystal ball moment from Chris Froome
Crystal Ball Chris.
Yes, this week, Joel. And he said, I think the big competition is between Pogačar and Vingegaard.
Oh, what?
Oh, really?
No way.
I know.
Stop it.
Fresh news.
Who are they? Where's that coming from?
It falls into the, most obvious headline you could possibly get.
Oh, Crystal Ball Chris is now his nickname.
But I think the point is that that's what everybody's thinking. Yeah. That's why it's so bleedingly obvious.
Of course.
But that gives the opportunity for Jai.
Oh, can you?
I do think. I mean, at some point, strategically, they have to be prepared to lose in order to win. And I think that's where Jai Hindley fits in. And I mean, I've been doing my best to educate the Australian media on how to say his name.
Oh, gosh.
We have enough troubles with the internationals, but come on now.
Just quickly, I mentioned before doing some Brekkie radio, and I was talking about the tour the day that Jai won, and we had a guest talking about it, and they asked me just before we went on, is it Hindley or Hindley? And I was like, it's Hindley. And then we went to air, and I said Hindley.
Ah! Well,
and they said Hindley. Jai Hindley. Anyway, I love what he's that he's in this mix because he's spoken about the beast mode nature of the race so far, and the likes of Pog and Jonas launching attacks in the yellow, 100 kilometres out, that sort of thing, and the fact that he's able to be up there despite that sort of unorthodox, non-traditional.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
and something other, if we're going through the hot or not, someone who could be on either side of the fence, I think, is Glutzy.
Yeah, Benny.
O'Connor.
G'day, Benny.
He's not where we thought he would be at this point of the tour.
What are you saying about my Benny?
I'm saying that we had big hopes that he would be quite elevated in the race for GC.
Yeah.
He is not.
Yep.
In fact, at last check, he was 11 minutes down, which is a great deal further up the GC than he was a couple of days ago because he did get in a break. But what that means is that he can take opportunities for stages. So he was third on a stage that Pello Bilbao won.
Yep.
And, I think part of that victory for Bilbao as well was, as we were talking about, in honour of Gino Mader. But I think that means that coming into these big mountains, if Glutzy's finding his legs, it's a big opportunity for him to go stage hunting.
Okay.
And again, as another team, like a fourth team away from Jumbo and UAE, are they going to chase Jai? Are they going to chase Glutzy? They can't chase them both all the time. And imagine if Jack Haig throws his hat in the ring in the climbing. Like, we could see a bit of a Aussie pow.
You're feeling like a rush, an Aussie rush.
I am.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Like, go Aussies, go.
Yeah, well, as you say, they're poised to attack from, where'd they come from kind of territory. So we'll see.
You know who I'm really worried about, if I can be honest? Caleb.
Yeah, I was...
Well,
I knew we were going to bring it up, but I was sort of dreading it a bit.
He was last on stage.
Yeah, his legs have abandoned him.
On stage 12. Stage 12 was not a flat stage, but it also was not the Alps that they're heading into.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming into 4 pretty aggressively tough stages, and for him to only just miss the time cut, be last on stage, and with a teammate with him, helping him as well, though he and his teammate Jasper de Boist were 10 minutes adrift from the bus, what we call the bus, where everybody who's not really racing for the stage, safety in numbers.
Yeah.
No safety in numbers for Caleb. I'm worried about him. I don't think based on that, I don't see him even getting through the next stages.
Is he injured? He's finishing 37 minutes behind.
We haven't had any indication of that, but clearly something's off.
It feels like a ginger ride because that's a huge. Anyway, we're worried. Caleb, if you're listening, I'm sure you are. Buck up, old son.
Yeah.
We wish you all the best. Hello, Merckxy.
Maybe his disc brakes are rubbing.
Look, maybe.
Disc brakes or spinal discs? Because that's 2 different questions.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe, though.
You'd think they'd have the mechanics on site to do a quick adjustment.
Yes.
Although, you never know. We'll see what happens. But Crystal Ball Chris saying, I'm going to write that down because Pog.
Yes, I know.
Jonas,
That's like...
who would have thought?
Da-da-da.
Eddie Merckx is getting behind Pog. Eddie Merckx is all about Pog.
He kind of... He likes to throw his opinions out there.
Now that his record's safe.
I think there's some people like Merckxy, the other Merckxy, not our Merckxy, who I think should be elevated in status. They don't really warm to Jonas, and I wonder if that's a personality thing because he's not.
He's quiet.
Yeah, I mean, Podgy, he's pretty fun. He's a fun guy.
Yeah,
he's a mushroom. He dances around. He has some fun. He takes the mickey out of people.
Yeah,
he's got a real out there personality.
I think people like his values too. I think he's got
great values, but great fun personality too. Jonas is a bit more of a shy guy.
Very shy guy.
And so I reckon it's got something to do with that more than anything because I am liking Jonas.
You okay?
I am. I'm
you're
liking
thinking
Jonas.
Purely on the pedals, and you're thinking Jonas is...
Well, because I think if we look at history in any way, when pure climbing, Jonas is a better pure climber.
Okay.
And stages 13 onwards, whoa.
Forget about it.
Like, forget about it.
Yeah.
They are pure tough climbs.
What's the Colombier? It's like 17 Ks, isn't it?
It is.
7 or 8%.
I got to say, it is my most favourite climb in the tour because at the top of it, it's like this beautiful, it opens out.
Yep.
So the aerial shots are magnificent. This beautiful snake hairpins that get narrower and narrower as you get toward the top. And so it is so beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
The most beautiful, I would say.
Have you ridden up it?
I haven't. It was in the tour for the first time in 2012.
Okay.
So I've driven up it. That was the first year I covered it for SBS.
And that was enough, I'm guessing?
Yeah, well, it was pretty solid. There are a lot of burning clutches, let me tell you, trying to get up there from the media convoy. But it is such a beautiful and almost mythical climb. And I can just see Jonas really
dominating.
Coming out,
okay.
Just feeling comfortable to back himself up it.
I like it. So we're talking about a quick report card as well. So Jai's obviously our shining light. I like what you've said about our Glutzy O'Connor as well. We should look at some non-Aussies as well aren't Pog and aren't... Jonas is obviously not going to win, but Jasper Philipson's been...
He's hot.
Immense.
Yes.
Immense.
He gets an A+ on the report card.
That's extraordinary. What, four stages out of 12?
So far, yeah. I mean, if we do it in the format that the kids' school reports are in, achieving above is what I would give him. Yes. Exceeding
expectations. Yes. Very much so. I think Feathers has been, okay.
I think he is achieving as expected, but not above.
Not above.
But again, these big climbs will make so much of a difference.
Yep.
In terms of how we are judging them to date.
So we're going to see a shake-up.
We're doing the pre-chat before the boom.
Before it gets real.
Yes, I realise this is an audio product, and so you cannot see that my hands are gesticulating wildly.
Wild boom.
Saying boom, but I'm nearly knocking coffee off, and I'm getting very excited.
It is. It's there's enough to get excited about. That's fine.
There is. You know who I would underachieving? Oh,
go on.
Dare I say? Biniam Gourmet.
Oh, not
but I love the guy. I love him as an athlete, and we
yeah.
thought that he would really be in the mix, and he just really hasn't been.
Where is he overall? He's slipped quite a bit, hasn't he?
Well, look, in the GC stakes, he's really nowhere to be seen. But I thought that he would push pretty hard for the green jersey.
Yep. Okay.
Horrible colour as it may be, and he's only just inside the top 10. In fact, he's on equal points with Pogačar, so that's not a good report card for a sprinter.
Okay. Dramas.
Yep.
Dramas.
Yep.
The brothers Yates up there as well.
I
like the brothers
exceeding
Yates.
Above. Yeah,
I think they'd get
They're next. They're still next to each other on GC.
Yeah, I like that. There's real brotherly, like you said earlier, a lot of brotherly energy going on.
Wouldn't it be poetic? Because we like talking about poetry. If they finished on the same time, can you imagine that? After 21 days of racing?
That would be beyond extraordinary.
They could kind of make it happen.
5 seconds apart through 12 stages. So you could almost be like, oi, Simo.
So, yeah.
Do you want to? Do you want to sync our watches?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Mum and Dad will love it. We'll see what happens on the Wheelhouse Podcast. Tour de France. It's about to get interesting. I can't believe I just said that. It is interesting, but it is about to ramp up.
It's about to get
another level.
interestinger.
More interesting. Yes, absolutely. But no, let's go elsewhere, Katarina Barthez, because we've spoken about heat. Let's talk about hot form in one of the worst segues I've ever said. But Annemiek van Vleuten, let's go to the Giro Donne,
Yes.
and I think 4 in 13 attempts. And my maths.
No, that's correct.
Not bad.
Not bad.
She's winning at about 30%.
Yeah,
overall.
pretty good. It's her last year. She's taken home the title at the Giro Donne, and almost a very good segue because it is heat wave over in Italy. In fact, it's kind of lucky for them that they wrapped up when they did because it's been 46 degrees.
Oh,
Yikers.
go away. Oh, that's ridiculous.
I know, that's beyond
I
short
need to
sleeve.
ring someone. Hello, can you do something about this heat in Italy?
Yes, well,
Well,
we're
Sarah,
in
angry, I
Brisbane,
didn't
so
even
you
hang
don't
it
need to
up
worry. But yeah, she's won 4 now, so it'll be her last because
that's
she's
extraordinary.
retiring.
Yep.
And just quietly, I reckon she's building form to Tour de France femme. I really think that we're seeing her lift in form. A lot of the favourites weren't there, but she's the kind of rider who wishes there were 200k stages, who has advocated for 21-day tours. So you might say, she could be tired after this. She's just getting warmed up.
She's just getting into it.
Come on now.
Wow.
Yeah, and she had a pretty quiet early season too.
Yeah.
So I think that this is... At the beginning of the season, people were like, "Ooh, she's not as hot as we thought she would be."
She knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes.
Oh, what a journey she's had.
So it's sensational. Gosh, she's incredible. And I think the Tour de France femme avec Swift is going to be boom.
You're booming again?
I am. I'm booming
nice.
again, although I'm
Okay.
not using my hands this time. I've learnt.
Audio product. It's extraordinary effort. We'll start talking more about the femme in the next few weeks, I'm sure, because before you know
Starts
it,
on the 23rd.
yeah, before you know it, there'll be
9 days
so
away.
much to unpack
Yikers.
there.
Yes.
But anyway, that's fantastic.
Well, it'll be good to dive back into the women's racing because it was hard to get much information about the Giro Donne, which is insane to say.
Yeah.
But we know that we're going to have all the info we could possibly need
is
for Tour de France femme.
Spratty coming on?
Yeah, she's gearing up for it.
Yeah.
They've got a good team too, Trek Lidl.
Yeah.
It'll be the first time we see her in the new kit as well.
There you go. Shoe colour, do we know yet? Or
Don't know. I don't hold out hopes for the blue
get
shoes.
her on the show. Now let's talk about Remco because I mentioned before it's all about Tour TDF. Of course it is, but you blink and that'll be over and we'll be in Spain now. Big story, of course. Remco's year's been an interesting one. Obviously, the Giro nowhere to be seen in the Tour and is going to be seen.
At the Vuelta.
At the
well,
Vuelta.
and Glasgow World Championships are coming up
And
first.
World Champs, before that.
So, yeah, I think it's pretty exciting that he's going to the Vuelta
Yeah.
because now what's going to essentially happen this year, which has not happened in a long time, is each of the 3 Grand Tours is action-packed and so much to look forward to. You know, normally the Tour is a reliable one, but the Giro, it's a bit half, and the Vuelta is often who's left from the other 2 tours. But, we've got Geraint Thomas, he's heading back. Roglic is heading back. I mean, imagine if we can reenact the Giro battle at the Vuelta with Remco back. Oh, my goodness me.
That's incredible.
It is. Well, but you probably won't be surprised to know, Joel, Paddy Lefevre's got his cranky pants back on.
Yeah,
Does he ever take them off? It's probably more the question.
I think he lives in them. I think they're painted on.
Merckxy, is that a Belgian thing?
I don't know the answer to that.
Have you got your cranky pants on today, Merckxy?
No, I don't have any pants on.
Yes.
You haven't walked
Pants
in there
off
during
Friday.
the day.
It's like Hamish and Blake.
That's how he rolls. Lefevre. No, so there's a bit to talk about here. So Remco, firstly, going to the Vuelta. That's very exciting. Contract window discussion for him as well, and courtship happening there as well. Patrick Lefevere is I don't care anymore. I'm throwing my toys out of the cot. Is that what's happening?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Or is it just like, cha-ching?
We say courtship. Patrick Lefevere says harassment.
Harassment, yeah.
He says the UCI needs to step in and stop harassing Remco about changing teams.
Oh.
Really? Like, I don't know. I think that's the wrong word to use. Remco's an adult.
Well, yeah.
Remco can say, hey, Ineos, go away, I'm not interested. Like, is it possible that Remco is saying to Ineos, let's consider this? And that's just infuriating Patrick.
Paddy doesn't like losing.
So he treats him like he's a piece of real estate property or something and says it's not up for sale.
Yeah.
Isn't it ultimately Remco's choice?
It is. Is there provision for some sort of transfer window, like certain dates you're not allowed to speak to athletes?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's not dissimilar to football in that, you know, you have to buy out the contract and you have to do all these sorts of things. Yep. So it doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, there's a huge amount of money involved in the transfer itself. Yep. But ultimately, if Remco even wants to entertain it and Ineos even entertaining the potential of paying all that money, can Paddy really, like, is it really his say?
Is it his say? He's allowed to talk to them. There's no rule saying you're not allowed to talk to rival teams between X and X dates in the season or anything like that?
I mean, there is, and I suppose it would be, how do they prove that? You know, Ineos would, of course. And that's what Lefevere says, they would deny it. But, you know, what do I have to do? I think it's like a bit too true crime podcast for me.
It is. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But they're all aware of the rules.
Conspiracy
They're all aware
theories.
if that's the rules. It's sort of, you know, Ineos is probably taking steps. So nice talking to you, Remco. And as always, this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, and then because the other story, as you kind of mentioned, is that Lefevere is like entertaining selling his shares in the team.
Yeah.
But he says he's had lots of offers in the past years and he's considering cashing out.
Yeah, what would he get? I wonder what the shares are worth.
Well, they're saying around $16.5 million is what I read for his shares, yeah. But I mean, honestly...
Gee, there's no money in cycling, is there? Gee whiz.
Yeah, I think I don't know that he cares about Remco in this dealing. No. I think it's more about the money, but anyway.
It's all about the money. Now, it's if it's not about money, it's about family, and I just want to talk about Wout van Aert quickly because decisions have been made.
Well, that's another will he stay or will he go?
Isn't it just? So there's a few angles on this as well as far as you're about to, you know, welcome a newborn into the family and whatnot. Where's your head at? If you are staying on the tour, are you going to be giving your best? Are you capable of that when your mind is very much blah, blah, blah? Or, of course, do you leave a tour as such an important part of that team? And what's the implications of that on you?
I mean, personally, as a former athlete, and I rode my bike to the studio today, and I can emphasise the former athlete. I think that the human element of it is if a rider's not happy or not present or whatever, they're not worth what they could be worth. So you have to play to the human element and you have to look after them, know they're valued, know that you realise that there's other things in life. And if you don't do that, then they're going to leave. They're not going to be their best anyway. So
well, you're going to lose them anyway, aren't you? Because they're going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah. I don't think, given how infrequently you could attend the birth of a child, your child, not just, he's not a midwife.
Sorry,
his own
guys.
child.
Hi, I'm Wout. Do you mind if I just watch you? What's your name again?
That is so... Oh, welcome back, Joel. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Think...
Sorry. Too far. Okay.
Merckxy, you're urgently needed in the studio.
Yeah, edits required.
I think that he should be able to leave.
Yeah.
And then it's Jumbo's kind of human resources issue as to do they take him in the first place? I think yes. Because the reality is at the pointy end of the stages, you're not going to have the full team there helping Jonas anyway.
Yeah.
So he can be instrumental in the time that he is at the Tour. But then when he goes, Merckxy, are you on your way in?
No, but he has made some strange decisions out there.
Yeah.
Baby brain.
Because he's not focused. Yeah.
I reckon Merckxy's of the opinion, and not to speak for you, but I'm totally going to, that you reckon he should stay, that he's paid a lot of money and that's his job. Is that fair?
No, he should be there for the baby.
Okay, right.
But I just think he's made some odd decisions out on the road.
Bit of...
Maybe his mind's elsewhere.
Maybe his mind... And we saw from Unchained,
Yeah.
little bit of... I mean, we discussed it. I thought it made him come across really well.
I did too. Yeah.
But there's certainly tensions in the team and a balancing of egos
There's a little bit of orgy-bulgy
going on. Yeah, so that's got to be playing
Well,
into it.
Merckxy.
Jonas said he's not going anywhere. Wout's not going anywhere. That's a bit of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to, come on, Jonas. I love you, but let Wout,
I don't know.
Surely they've conferred on that.
Well,
I
I mean, maybe Jonas is saying that not from a pressure perspective, like, I won't let him go anywhere, we need him,
Yeah.
but that, no, he isn't.
Yeah.
It's simply answering a question. It's hard to know the context because, so many quotes get taken out of context, actually.
Yeah.
Probably not the Chris Froome one about Fodgy and Jonas.
Oh,
but
Mr. Scoop of the day.
Scoop. But
from
this
Chris
one,
Froome.
so it's very possible that Jonas is just saying, no, he's not leaving. You're all talking about it, but he's not leaving, rather than saying he cannot leave.
Yeah, he's not leaving. I have tied him to the bus. Yep, okay.
Yes.
We shall see.
You'd need strong rope.
Is a half-focused Wout still more valuable than 70% of riders?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's exceptionally good at his job. There's very few of him.
Yeah.
There's not really anybody else who can do what
Okay.
he can do.
And he has good hair. Very good
He
hair.
has got good.
He has got.
He's
very
not going
good
anywhere.
hair.
We are feeding him 2 square meals a day and giving him 20
But
minutes exercise.
I hope he leaves, honestly, because
Yep.
I think otherwise, at the end of his career, he'll regret it.
Yep.
And as wonderful as his wife is, I reckon, even if she says, of course, it's your decision, darling, I think that deep
Yeah.
down she would also be thinking, oof,
That'd drive a wedge.
potentially.
Yeah. Are we invited to the baby shower?
I think the invite's lost in the mail, but
bugger.
we'll go and check.
Okay. Merckxy.
Rumour has it they're going to name the baby Matthew.
Matthew, who is languishing, I believe, in 72nd at the moment overall.
Well, to add another to the report card,
yeah,
underachieving
being underachiever
is the rivalry we thought was going to happen between Matthew and Wout. We
Yeah.
thought it would be like a day-by-day war.
Well, at the start of the year, we just thought this is on for like Donkey Kong for the year because
Gone.
But where's it?
If we go back to our tour preview,
Yep.
there's been a few misses. Not just for us, but for everybody who was predicting what may happen at the tour.
Except for Chris Froome, because
Yes.
tell you what,
Yes. Crystal ball, Chris.
those instincts. Pogacar and Jonas. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Honestly, just
Who would have thunk?
unbelievable. So okay, let's go. Let's bring it back to Australia at the moment, Catherine Bates, because a big bit of news. Not for the Wheelhouse podcast, but we're we're
Yet.
we're waiting in the wings. But the ARA and AusCycling have come together like Lefevre and Remco.
They have. ARA have announced that they will be sponsoring AusCycling for the next 5 years. But, boom, 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 but they are hoping that they will be far longer term partners.
Great.
They're looking at a solid decade plus.
Yep.
Really underpinning the sport in Australia, which is cool. I mean, we've got the sport wouldn't be where it's at without Jerry Jaco.
Yeah.
Jerry Ryan supporting so much as he does.
JK Jerry, yeah.
This adds another element to it with ARA jumping in, which is fantastic.
Love that. Love
It
that
is.
for the sport.
It is. It is very, very good. And
Good bunts. Good.
I don't know.
Bunsen burner.
I don't know how much the deal's worth.
Okay.
But what I do know is that they've gone for all disciplines of the sport. So it's
Okay.
not that they're sponsoring the Road Academy or track or BMX. Every athlete under the AusCycling banner will be now branded with ARA.
Great.
So, yes.
That's fantastic.
They've got 4 divisions of fire and security, electrical, property services and products in Australia and New Zealand. So very much an Anzac brand. I love that too. I love it when you get the Aussie players really involved in the sponsorship rather than
Absolutely.
the globals.
Absolutely, especially when we talk about some of the figures that we talk about in Europe in the sport. And it's great to see this kind of commitment because the reality is you need money to you need money to ride a bike.
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
Well, and I also think in the same way that we Google sponsors and try and figure out who DSM is or Firmenich or Quick Step or whatever, people will be Googling ARA to figure out what it is they do. And I think that's really cool. Like automatically they've got the brand recognition on the uptick and the loyalty. I drive a Skoda because Skoda supports cycling.
Skoda.
So, I think it does flow down.
Merckxy?
Do you reckon they'll want to sponsor a podcast? Can you make a call, please, Kate?
Can't hurt.
Can't wait to find out. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
5-year deal. We'll start slow.
Actually, Merckxy, could you please send them a DM? Slide into their DMs on socials for us.
You know, we could do. We could
sponsor.
combine Lefebvre and them. So we'll go 5-year deal worth $16.5 million.
Boom.
That should get us through a few episodes.
It should.
Yeah,
It'll keep the wheels turning,
That's
so to speak.
Roughly half of Merckxy's day rate. Very, very good. No, look, Kate Bates, it's lovely to be back in the bunker.
It's lovely to have you back.
It's lovely to be had back. And is there anything else you would like to discuss? Because I feel like we've discussed so much and I've had a lovely time.
Look, I just want to say that I think Lulu
Yes.
and Peter Sagan.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Who are your favourite and Merckx's favourite? They're on the not hot list. That's all I'm going to say. So thanks for coming back and we'll see you next week.
See you, Lulu. It's all good. Hey, look, thank you for coming along. Like, share, subscribe. Tell everyone you know it's the Wheelhouse Podcast, Australia's
and all that jazz.
only weekly cycling podcast. Yes. Australia's freshest. There you go. That's safe.
Yes.
Lovely to have you along.
The only one recorded in Brisbane.
So many stats.
On a weekly basis.
So many stats. We need to get a plaque out the front.
I think so.
Okay.
ARA could probably knock one up for us.
Give him a bell. Here's the phone.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Ding dong.
Give him a call. Sponsors, hello.
Put the Darth Vader voice on.
See you next time.